AARO made glaring mistakes in the most recent hearing with Chairwoman Kirsten Gillibrand. Either they're intentionally deceptive, are extremely incompetent, or perhaps both. Alternatively, all the intelligence I've gathered on their blunder is wrong, and I'm the one in the wrong, but I don't think that's the case. Let's dive right into what AARO messed up so badly. No time to waste.
The Go Fast was captured the public attention and congressional attention when it was made public in 2017. Looks like an object flying very fast over the water, very close to the water. Through a very careful geospatial intelligence analysis using trigonometry, we assess with high confidence that the object is not actually close to the water, but is rather closer to 13,000 feet. Diagram here shows as the platform is flying and capturing the object, if it is closer to the platform at a higher altitude, a trick of the eye called parallax makes it look like the object is moving much faster. And so we've written a detailed paper on parallax, released that on our website so that the public can literally check our math on this analysis.
That's everything AARO head Dr. Kozlowski said about the Go Fast video during the hearing. Whether intentionally or not, he gives the impression that it's been fully resolved and that there's nothing more to see. But that's clearly not true. The Go Fast event is apparently part of a much larger UFO cluster event, something Dr. Kozlowski doesn't mention at all. How could he leave that out in good faith? Someone help me make sense of this. Former Lieutenant Ryan Graves told Gotti Schwartz on NBC News Now on November 19th, the same day as the hearing.
Specifically, the Go Fast video itself was never really interesting because it was going fast. The pilots certainly didn't say that, nor did they name the video. If anything, the Pentagon simply debunked their own naming for that video. What is interesting, what's anomalous, is that that video was captured within minutes of the gimbal video, and it just goes to further show that there were many more objects operating in that area than the first video shows.
Graves goes on to criticize AARO for failing to do their due diligence.
If the AARO office actually spoke with the pilots that were involved in that incident, they would know the objects were part of a larger formation of objects, and thus very anomalous to be operating 300 miles off the coast and within 50 miles of a U.S. aircraft carrier.
Let's break down his complaints further. In a November 21st Liberation Times article, former naval aviator Lieutenant Ryan Graves, who founded Americans for Safe Aerospace, sharply criticized AARO, stating, and I quote, "But speaking to Liberation Times, former naval aviator Lieutenant Ryan Graves and founder of Americans for Safe Aerospace stated that the AARO has not even spoken to the weapons systems officer who witnessed the UAP and recorded the Go Fast video." Graves also revealed, and I quote, "I spoke to the weapons systems officer who recorded the video a couple of weeks ago, and he confirmed no one from the AARO spoke to him," end quote. Graves further criticized AARO, stating, and I quote, "I think it's important to raise the point that the AARO's lack of conversation with witnesses on videos they are attempting to resolve indicates they are simply finding technicalities to resolve video evidence versus looking for the truth. They ask for witnesses to come forward, but why would they if they don't consider their testimony?" End quote. Here's more from Graves from the same Liberation Times article, and I quote, "Speaking about the broader context of the Go Fast UAP, Graves added, the pilots certainly didn't find the object interesting due to its speed. If anything, the AARO has merely debunked its own labeling of the footage. What's anomalous about the object isn't its speed, but the fact it was recorded just minutes apart from the gimbal video, further highlighting that multiple objects were operating in the area, far more than what the initial video alone reveals. I have spoken with the flight crew recently, and they stated that Go Fast was part of a 4-object formation flying line abreast with about a mile separation between them. Let's quickly review what we just covered because it's so essential. The video was captured within minutes of the gimbal object being recorded. If the AARO office actually spoke with the pilots that were involved in the incident, they would know the objects were part of a larger formation of objects and thus very anomalous to be operating 300 miles off the coast and within 50 miles of a U.S. aircraft carrier. That's pretty anomalous. We're talking 300 miles off the coast and within 50 miles of a U.S. aircraft carrier, and it's completely unresolved. All the way out in the deep ocean, nobody knows anything about these UAP. Dr. Kozlowski gives the impression that it's a resolved case, but it's anything but a resolved case. As Liberation Times conveyed, and here's a quote from Liberation Times, although the AARO considers the case resolved, it remains no closer to determining what objects or potential foreign adversaries have penetrated restricted airspace and continue to do so to this day, according to multiple Liberation Times sources. Crucially, according to Graves, this ongoing activity continues to pose a safety risk to military air crews, suggesting that the AARO's efforts have done little to enhance the safety of service members. It's so absurd because Dr. Kozlowski is saying it's parallax and they're not traveling as fast as it seems, tells us zippo, zero, nada, still a UAP. We still don't know who's behind the wheel. We still don't know who's controlling it. How did they get so close to the aircraft carrier? And we don't know who's in control of it. And furthermore, this was part of a 4-object formation flying line abreast with about a mile separation between them, according to the flight crew that AARO did not interview, apparently. I think this is a huge mess up by AARO, because during this very limited hearing with Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, they chose to speak about the Go Fast video as if it was resolved, and yet left out all these details, and furthermore, didn't tell us within the body of the hearing what it was and where it came from and what its intention was. Resolved? Not even close. Now, I can hear the rebuttal already. Someone in my audience is saying, well, hold up, Ryan. Dr. Kozlowski never said it was resolved. First of all, I would argue he gave the impression it was resolved, and without speaking about any of the anomalous nature to it in terms of all the other details that apparently are pertinent to it, number one. And number two, here is Kirsten Gillibrand herself during the opening of the hearing presenting that Dr. Kozlowski is going to explain why it is resolved.
Second, I look forward to your presentation of 3 case studies demonstrating cases that AARO has resolved, including the Go Fast, which is one of the most prominent UAP cases.
The proof is in the pudding. Kirsten Gillibrand herself said she looks forward to hearing 3 case studies that were resolved, including the Go Fast. I really doubt she's pulling that out of left field. AARO probably gave her an outline of what would be covered during that hearing and gave her the impression that they were going to cover why the Go Fast was resolved. But the Go Fast isn't even anywhere near close to resolved. It's a complete mystery. And as Ryan Graves said, it's the Pentagon that called it the Go Fast video. It wasn't the pilots. The pilots have never stated that the object was going fast. That's not what made it anomalous. It was part of a bigger UAP cluster event, including the gimbal object and multiple other objects 1 mile apart in some kind of weird formation. 300 miles off the coast and within 50 miles of an aircraft carrier. Pretty weird. Not resolved even remotely. So that's just disappointing. It's just disappointing. It's weird too, in my opinion. It's weird that they would give the impression the Go Fast video is resolved when it's self-evident it's not remotely resolved, and it's just common sense that you would not do that. Obviously, people are going to see through that. I'm a little baffled in this situation. But we'll leave it at that. This is a very tight, very focused video. Maybe I'll start doing more of those. And that would also elicit more uploads, at least in theory. Please do not forget to subscribe. If you'd like to support my channel, you can check out my merch shop where I sell t-shirts. You can become a patron. You can become a YouTube member. You can give me a one-time donation. Or you can just slap a like on this bad boy, and I'll appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Special thanks to all YouTube members, patrons, those that have bought merch, those that have given me a one-time donation. I couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. See you in the next episode.